My name is Ramona Martinez. I have been working as a nurse in the preoperative unit at St. Catherine's Medical Center for 14 years. I have prepared many patients for surgery. I have seen chest surgeries. I have seen heart surgeries. I have seen brain surgeries, but I will never forget 70-year-old Dorothy Mitchell. Her blood pressure was high. Her hands were shaking uncontrollably. Tears were streaming down her face. When she was taken to the operating room at 6:15 that morning, I never would have guessed that her son had tried to kill her. Dorothy's vitals were dangerously high, much higher than for a healthy woman. I checked her medical history. She wasn't on blood pressure medication. She had no heart disease. She had no anxiety disorder. So why was her heart beating so fast? Why was she sweating so much? Why was she so scared? I slowly approached her and took her hand. Her hands were ice cold. "How are you feeling?" I asked. Her eyes locked onto mine. She looked at me with helpless, pleading eyes. "I don't want to do this," she whispered. "Please cancel the surgery." I paused. This wasn't unusual. Many patients got nervous at the last minute. But Dorothy's level of fear was different. This wasn't normal pre-op anxiety. This was panic and torment. "Are you worried about the surgery?" I asked. I kept my voice calm. "Dr. Sterling is an excellent surgeon. He has performed thousands of successful surgeries." "It is not the surgery," she said. Her tears quickened. "My son Marcus is pressuring me to have the surgery. I don't want it." I checked her file again. It was an eyelid lift. A simple cosmetic procedure, elective. Not medically necessary, it wasn't covered by insurance. Full payment was required. It was $15,000, I asked in a polite tone. "You signed the consent form 2 weeks ago. You confirmed you wanted the surgery." She answered me in a harsh tone. "No, I didn't sign it. Marcus signed it. He forced me. He put the pen in my hand. He said if I refused, he would fire my home care aide. He said he would send me to a nursing home. He said I couldn't live on my own." My heart raced. This was a serious allegation. It was a violation of a consent form. It was elder abuse. It was potentially a legal issue. "Don't you need the surgery?" I asked. "Is there no medical reason? My eyes are perfect. I see well. I have no problem." But Marcus said, "You look old," he said. "It is embarrassing," he said. "You need to take care of yourself." But I know it is not about me. It is about something else. "What is it about?" I asked. Dorothy paused before speaking. "It is about life insurance. When Thomas died 6 months ago, Marcus made me take out a new policy. It was a big policy, $750,000. For protection," he said. "But now I understand. He wants me dead. He wants the money, and surgical complications will look like an accident." My stomach started churning. I couldn't believe it, but I looked into Dorothy's eyes. She wasn't lying, she was scared. "Wait for me. I need to talk to the surgeon." I found Dr. Sterling in the dressing room. He was getting ready for surgery. I explained the situation. I explained Dorothy's objections. I explained the life insurance claim. He raised his eyebrows. "This is a first," he said, "but the consent form is signed legally. We can proceed." She says it was signed under duress. That invalidates the consent ethically. We should stop the surgery. Dr. Sterling paused. He was in a professional dilemma. Legally it was safe, but ethically it was questionable. "I'll talk to her son. Let's clarify the situation." Marcus Mitchell was waiting in the waiting room. He was a 45-year-old man. He was wearing an expensive suit. He was wearing an expensive watch. He wore expensive shoes. But his eyes looked tense. His hands looked tense. His whole body looked tense. Dr. Sterling had gone over to talk to him. "We need to talk to your mother. She has concerns about the surgery." Marcus laughed. It was a sharp laugh. "My mother is getting old. She is confused. Yesterday she called me her father. My father died 5 years ago. You can't trust her. She doesn't seem confused. She seems lucid. She seems scared." Marcus's face hardened. "Nurse, you are overstepping your bounds," he said to Dr. Sterling. "This is a family matter. It is not a medical matter, Dr. Sterling replied calmly. The patient's consent is a medical issue, and if your mother withdraws her consent, we can't perform the surgery. Marcus's jaw tightened. We paid $15,000, he said. We paid in advance. There is a no refund policy. If we lose the money, we'll sue. Is your only concern the money? Not your mother's safety? That is why I chose the best surgeon. That is why I chose the best hospital. That is why I paid for everything. But you are interfering. You are sabotaging family decisions. This is your mother's decision, not yours. Marcus took a step toward me. His eyes narrowed. Who are you? You are just a nurse. She is my mother. My decision, my money. Dr. Sterling joined the conversation firmly. Mr. Mitchell, this behavior is unacceptable. Your mother's vitals are dangerously high. Blood pressure 187, heart rate 128. Performing surgery under these conditions would be medical malpractice. So what do you suggest? Marcus asked. His voice was dangerous. We're postponing the surgery. We'll wait until your mother's blood pressure stabilizes. The consent situation must be clarified. Maybe a few days, maybe a week. Marcus's face flushed. Unacceptable, he said. I won't accept it. She needs surgery today. She has a flight booked tomorrow, a business meeting. We can't change the schedule. You can't risk your mother's health, I replied. Marcus gave me an icy stare at that moment. I saw the danger in his eyes. Dorothy was right. This surgery wasn't about cosmetics. It wasn't about love. It was about money. It was about life insurance. It was about the risk of complications. His son was trying to kill his mother, and we were about to stop him. The surgery was canceled. Dr. Sterling officially postponed it. Marcus stormed out of the office. He was yelling into his phone. He was talking about his lawyer. He was talking about a complaint. He was talking about a lawsuit. But Dorothy was safe for now. She was moved back to her room. She remained on vital signs monitoring. Her blood pressure slowly dropped. Her heart rate normalized. The trembling stopped, but the fear remained in her eyes. She thanked me, squeezing my hand tightly. You saved me. Marcus is going to be very angry with me. I pulled up a chair beside her bed. Tell me, I said gently. Tell me everything. Start from the beginning. Dorothy took a deep breath. She was ready to tell her story. She was ready to tell the truth. My husband, Thomas, had a sudden heart attack 5 years ago. He died. A heart attack. I never expected it. But he had life insurance. $500,000. I paid off the mortgage. I paid the bills. Enough was left for a comfortable retirement. I nodded. I listened. I didn't judge. Marcus and his sister Susan supported me. The first few months were hard. I was alone. I was sad. But slowly I healed. I spent time with friends. I tended my garden. I joined a book club. Life went on. Then what happened? I asked. Dorothy paused. She remembered the details. 6 months ago, Marcus came over. He looked worried. He sat down and said we needed to talk. About what? I asked. We'll talk about the future of my money, Dorothy said. Mom, you are 70, he said. What if something happens? What if you get sick? What if you need a nursing home? Money runs out fast. We need to plan. He seemed concerned. He seemed thoughtful. I trusted him. My stomach turned. I knew where this was going. I'd heard this story before in different families. The script and manipulation were the same. He set me up with a financial planner. The guy talked about life insurance. He talked about a big policy. He said it would be great for the beneficiaries. Perfect for estate planning, he said. Tax advantages, he said. I was confused. But Marcus insisted. Do it for us, he said. You have to do it for Susan and me. How much was the policy? I asked. $750,000. The annual premium was $18,000. That is a lot of money. But Marcus said he would pay it. He told me not to worry. I'll take care of it, he said. I signed the forms. I went for the doctor's checkup. The policy was approved. I nodded. So far, everything seemed legal. Unethical, maybe, but legal. The first few months were normal. Marcus called once a week. He visited. We ate together. He acted like a good son. But then he changed. Dorothy's eyes welled up. He got cold, she said. He became distant. He ignored my calls. He canceled visits. He made excuses. I am too busy, he said. Work is stressful, he said. We'll talk later, he said, but we never did. So when did he reappear? 3 weeks ago, he showed up unannounced. He knocked on the door. He came in. Mom, I need to talk to you, he said. His face was serious. "You are getting old. You look bad. What will people think? They'll think my mother is embarrassing. You reflect badly on my family." I couldn't believe it. My own son had said that. He had said that to his own mother. "What did you say?" I was hurt. "I look old because I am old," I said. "It is normal and natural." But Marcus wouldn't listen. "There are solutions," he said. "There are procedures. Dr. Sterling is an excellent plastic surgeon. He can do an eyelid lift. He can make you look young." "What did you say?" I said no. I said I don't want it. I said I don't need it. I said I am happy, but Marcus wouldn't accept it. He called every day. He pressured me every day. "Do it for me," he said. "Do it for Susan. Do it for your grandchildren. They're embarrassed to see you. They avoid you." I clenched my fists. This was psychological abuse. "Did you agree?" I asked quietly. Dorothy nodded. "Yes. I was weak and alone. I wanted good relations with my family, I thought. It is just one surgery, I thought. Then everything will go back to normal." I was wrong. "Why were you wrong?" Dorothy looked at me directly, because when Marcus paid $15,000, he was very excited. He was very eager. He set the surgery date immediately. He wouldn't accept any delay. "The sooner the better," he said, and then one night I saw something on his computer. He was reading articles about anesthesia complications. He was reading articles about mortality risks in elderly patients. He was reading articles about surgical malpractice lawsuits. He didn't notice me. I quietly left the room, but I couldn't sleep that night. I thought about everything. I understood what he wanted to do. Marcus wanted to kill me. My own son was planning to kill me. He was planning to kill me for $750,000. And surgical complications would be the perfect accident. No one would question it. It would just be an unfortunate outcome. I held his hand. It was trembling. "You are safe now. The surgery is cancelled. We'll protect you." "How long can you protect me?" "Marcus won't give up. He'll find another way. He'll make another plan. I'll never be safe." I knew he was right. We stopped the surgery, but we didn't solve the problem. Marcus was still there. He was still a threat. He was still dangerous. That afternoon, I reviewed Dorothy's medical records. Her health was excellent. Her blood pressure was normal. Her cholesterol was normal. Her blood sugar was normal. She had no chronic illnesses. She wasn't taking any medication. She was 70 years old, but as healthy as a 50-year-old woman. She definitely didn't need cosmetic surgery. There was no medical reason, only Marcus's insistence. I also checked the financial records. The hospital record system showed the payment information. Marcus had paid $15,000 with his own credit card. He had paid in one lump sum without installments. That was a large sum. Where did it come from? My suspicions grew. I needed to dig deeper. Marcus came back that evening. Visiting hours were at 7 p.m. He arrived loud and angry. He went to Dorothy's room. He closed the door, but the sounds leaked into the hallway. "Mom, what is this nonsense? What did you tell the nurse? What lies did you make up?" "I didn't lie. I told the truth. You are pressuring me. I don't want to have surgery. It doesn't matter what you want. I am your son. I make the decisions. I am healthy. I can make my own decisions." Marcus replied in a sarcastic tone. "Really? Because the doctors might think differently. You could be diagnosed with senile dementia. I could get legal guardianship. Then the surgery would happen." I opened the door and entered the room. "Mr. Mitchell, stop disturbing the patient," I said sternly. Marcus turned to me. His face was red. His eyes were flashing. "You again. This is harassment. You are interfering with family time. This isn't a visit. This is a threat. I suggest you leave before I call security." Marcus took a step closer. He came within an inch of my face. "Careful, little nurse," he replied. "People like you lose their jobs. They lose their licenses. They lose their careers. I can hire a lawyer, can you?" "Let's find out. Because I fight anyone who threatens my patient, and that includes you." Marcus backed away. He walked to the door. He turned and looked at Dorothy one last time. "This isn't over, Mom," he said. The door slammed behind him. Dorothy was shaking. She was crying. "He won't forgive me. He'll make my life hell." "No, he won't, because we're going to report this. We're going to report it to Elder Care Services. We're going to report it to the police. We're going to document everything." "Who will believe me?" Dorothy asked helplessly. "I am just an old woman. He is a successful businessman. He has money. He has power. I believe you. That is enough." That night at home, I researched Marcus Mitchell. I searched his social media profiles. I looked up news articles and business records. What I found shocked me. Marcus wasn't a successful real estate consultant. Marcus was a debt-ridden gambler. There was an article in the Phoenix Gazette 2 years ago. It was titled, "Local Businessman Sued Over Gambling Debts." He owed $340,000. He owed money to a Las Vegas casino. He had missed his mortgage payments. He had filed for bankruptcy. But the bankruptcy hadn't been approved because 6 months earlier, he had reported a sudden increase in income. Where did it come from? It wasn't disclosed. But I knew he was paying Dorothy's life insurance premiums. Where did he get the money? Because he had a plan. He had a short-term investment plan. If his mother died, he would get $750,000. He would pay off his debts. He would solve his problems. Dorothy's life was only worth $750,000. For Marcus, $750,000 was the solution. Early the next morning, I called Karen Foster, the hospital's Social Security officer. I explained the situation. I explained Dorothy's claims. I explained Marcus's history. Karen came right away. She had a private conversation with Dorothy. She took notes on every detail. She documented every threat. Then she prepared an official report. This is a case of elder abuse, emotional abuse, financial exploitation, potential physical danger. We need to call Adult Protective Services. Is the police necessary too? I asked. There is suspicion of life insurance fraud. There is suspicion of attempted murder. This is a criminal matter. We need to call the police. That afternoon, Detective James Rodriguez from the Phoenix Police Department arrived. He took Dorothy's statement. He listened carefully. He took notes. He didn't miss a single detail. "Can we see the life insurance policy?" he asked. Dorothy had the documents in her bag. She took out the policy. $750,000. Beneficiary, Marcus Mitchell. Secondary beneficiary, Susan Mitchell. Premium payer, Marcus Mitchell. The detective photographed the document. This is a classic setup for fraud. A large policy is taken out. The premiums are paid, then an accident is staged. It looks legal, but it is calculated. "What can we do?" I asked. "We're opening an investigation," Detective Rodriguez said. "We'll look at Marcus's financial records. We'll look at his emails. We'll look at his phone records. We'll look at his communications with Dr. Sterling. We'll see the big picture." "How long will it take?" Dorothy asked. "Maybe a week. You'll need to be patient, but you are safe. Marcus can't come near you. We can get a restraining order." Dorothy relaxed. She relaxed for the first time in days. Help was coming. Justice was coming. But we didn't know how desperate Marcus was. We didn't know how dangerous he was. That night, everything changed. The next morning, we had a long talk with Dorothy. She was ready to tell her whole story. She was ready to tell it from beginning to end, not just the last 6 months. She was ready to tell her whole life. We sat in her room. We closed the door. No one disturbed us. It was just us. "Would you like to tell me?" I asked gently. Dorothy smiled. She smiled for the first time. The memories warmed her. Damas and I met in 1978. I was 23, he was 25. I was working in a library in Seattle. He was a civil engineer. We met at the same coffee shop. We came at the same time every morning. Finally, he got up the courage to say hello. We got married in 1980. We had a small wedding. We moved to Portland. We built a life together. Her eyes welled up, but they were happy tears. They were tears of nostalgia. Marcus was born in 1982. He was our first child, Thomas was so happy. We had a son. Our family was growing. He was a wonderful father. Marcus loved him. He really did. When did it change? Dorothy paused, she thought. She remembered Marcus started middle school when he was 12. He made new friends. He made rich friends. They had big houses. They had expensive cars. They had vacation homes. Marcus felt ashamed. Our house was small. Our car was old. We didn't go on vacation. Why aren't we rich? Why aren't we like other families? I told him the truth. We're a middle-class family. Thomas makes good money. I work part-time. We live comfortably. But we don't live luxuriously. I said happiness doesn't come from money. Family doesn't come from money. Love doesn't come from money. Did he believe you? No, he didn't. From that age on, money became everything to Marcus. Happiness and success meant money. He went to college. He studied business. He got his real estate license. He worked hard. He wanted to make money. He wanted to make a lot of money. Was he successful? I asked. He was successful at first. He was doing well in his 20s. He was earning commissions. He was living well. Then he got married. He married Jennifer. She was a beautiful girl. But she was cold. She was interested in money. She was interested in status. She was a perfect match for Marcus. Did they have children? I asked. Jennifer didn't want children. She wanted to focus on her career. Marcus agreed. I was disappointed. I wanted grandchildren, but I respected their choice. Dorothy stood up. She walked to the window. She looked outside. The Phoenix sun was shining, but her eyes were distant. She was in the past. Susan was born in 1985. She was our second child. Marcus loved Susan. At first, he loved her. He played with her when she was a baby. He protected her when she was a child. But as she grew older, he changed. Jealousy developed. Why? I asked. Because Susan was different. She wasn't interested in money. She wasn't interested in status. She became an art teacher. She taught children to paint. She earned a modest salary. She lived in a small apartment, but she was truly happy. Marcus couldn't understand that. She is wasting her potential, he said. She could do more, he said. She is a failure, he said. Did Susan care about Marcus's opinion? I asked. She cared a lot. Their relationship deteriorated. Years passed. They didn't talk. They didn't visit. They didn't get together on holidays. I had 2 children, but they didn't love each other. The family was broken. Dorothy returned to her bed. She looked tired. The memories were consuming her, but she had to continue. The truth had to come out. When Thomas retired, everything was fine. He was 65 years old and had worked for 40 years. He deserved to rest. We had plans, travel plans. We wanted to see Canada. We wanted to see Alaska. We wanted to spend time together. He died in the 3rd month of retirement. We were having dinner. I had cooked chicken. It was his favorite. He laughed. He told stories. Then he suddenly stopped. His face turned pale. He clutched his chest. Dorothy, I feel bad, he said. He fell to the floor. I called 911. I performed CPR. It was a sudden heart attack. Tears streamed down her cheeks. I held her hand. I didn't speak. My world was shattered. We had been married for 45 years. We were together every day. We woke up together in the morning. We slept together at night. Suddenly, I was alone. It wasn't a medical emergency. Did Marcus and Susan support you? Susan came right over. She flew in from Seattle. She stayed for 2 weeks. She arranged the funeral. She hosted visitors. She cried with me. She really cared. What about Marcus? I asked. Dorothy's face darkened. Marcus came to the funeral. He wore a suit. He shook hands. He offered his condolences, but he seemed emotionless. He seemed distant. He acted as if he were at a business meeting. He saw it as a duty. What happened after the funeral? I asked. Everyone left. Susan went back to Seattle. Marcus went back to Portland. I was left alone. I was left alone in the house. Every room reminded me of Thomas. Every item held memories of us. It became unbearable. How did you cope? I asked. I coped with difficulty. The first 3 months were a blur, I cried. I didn't sleep. I didn't eat. I was depressed. My friends and neighbors helped me. They reminded me I wasn't alone. Life had to go on. What was the financial situation? I asked. Financially, I was okay. Thomas left $500,000 in life insurance. The house was mortgage-free. There were retirement accounts. There was Social Security. I wasn't rich, but I was secure. I didn't need to worry. Did Marcus know about your financial situation? I asked. He called a week after the funeral. Mom, you need to take care of the money, he said. You need to invest. You need to plan. I can help. I politely declined. I am fine, I said. I have an accountant. I'll manage. Marcus suddenly started paying attention to me. He called twice a week. How are you, Mom? He said. Are you lonely? Do you need help? He was acting out of character, but I liked it. Maybe he had changed, I thought. Maybe his father's death had changed him. He had a plan. He came to see me in June. He wanted to talk face to face. He said it was important. I sat down. I listened. Mom, I am worried about your future, he said. What if you get sick? What if you need long-term care? The costs are astronomical. The money runs out fast. We need to plan. What kind of plan? I asked. Marcus brought in a financial planner. The guy gave presentations. He showed charts. He showed statistics. Nursing home is $85,000 a year, he said. Home care is $60,000 a year, he said. Your money will run out in 5 years, he said. They scared me. It was a big life insurance policy, $750,000. The beneficiaries are protected, the planner said. The inheritance is secure, he said. Tax advantages, he said. Estate planning, he said. I was confused, but Marcus insisted. Do it for me, he said. Do it for Susan. Protect our future. I hesitated because it was a lot of money. I can't afford it, I said. But Marcus laughed. I'll pay for it, he said. Think of it as an investment. You won't make any payments. I'll pay. I was suspicious but couldn't figure out why. I asked Susan. Has Marcus changed? I asked. Has he gotten better? Susan was suspicious. I don't know, Mom, she said. Be careful. Marcus rarely acts without being selfish. He warned me, but I didn't listen. Dorothy stood up. She went back to the window. The sun was setting. The sky looked beautiful, but Dorothy was sad. I signed the forms in July. Marcus arranged everything. He set up the appointment. I went to the doctor. I had a physical exam. I had blood tests. Everything was normal. Everything looked healthy. The policy was approved. Marcus was the primary beneficiary. Susan was the secondary beneficiary. When was the first payment made? I asked. In August, Marcus showed me the documents. Look, Mom, I paid, he said. You are covered. You are safe. I smiled. I thanked him, but I had a strange feeling inside. It was an uncomfortable feeling. I ignored it. Then Marcus's behavior changed. In September, the calls decreased. The visits stopped. He said he was busy. I am swamped with work. We'll talk later, he said. Suddenly, he started acting indifferent. He distanced himself from me because he had gotten what he wanted. That was his plan. When did the surgery come up? I asked. Dorothy turned back to her bed. She sat down. She took a deep breath. In October, Marcus came to me and announced. Mom, I need to talk to you, he said. He sat down. He looked at me. You are getting old. Your appearance is deteriorating. I am worried about what people will think. I was shocked. I was hurt. What do you mean? I asked. Marcus pointed to the area around my eyes. Your eyelids are drooping, he said. You look old. You look tired. You look sick. What will people think when they see you? They'll think your son doesn't look after his mother. Did he really say that? I asked angrily. He was emotionally manipulating me. I felt bad. I felt ashamed. Maybe he is right, I thought. Maybe I really do look bad. Dr. Richard Sterling is the best plastic surgeon in Phoenix. You are going to have your eyelids lifted, blepharoplasty. It is a simple procedure. It will take 2 hours. You won't feel any pain. You'll look younger. You'll feel better about yourself, he said. I said I didn't want it. I said I was happy, but Marcus wouldn't take no for an answer. He called the next day. Have you thought about it? He said. But he called every day. He pressured me every day. He manipulated me every day. Dorothy's tears came back. Marcus's wife called. Dorothy, Marcus is right, she said. Your appearance matters. You should do this for Marcus. I finally gave in. By the beginning of November, I couldn't take it anymore. Okay, I'll have the surgery, but I have one condition. I want full information about the risks. I want to speak privately with the doctor. Marcus agreed. Did you speak with Dr. Sterling? I went to his office. Marcus came with me. He refused to wait outside. He came into the room with me. Dr. Sterling explained the procedure. He explained the risks. Anesthesia is required, he said. You will be completely asleep. There is a risk of complications, but it is minimal. It is a bit higher at your age. The risk of anesthesia complications in patients over 70 is 2%. In younger patients, it is 0.7%, 3 times higher, but still low. An acceptable risk, said Dr. Sterling. Acceptable for my mother, he said. But he wasn't deciding for me. He was deciding for himself. $15,000 full payment would be required. No refunds or installments. Marcus pulled out his credit card. I'll pay, he said. Dr. Sterling hesitated. The patient should pay, he said. But Marcus insisted. I am giving it to my mother as a gift, he said. An early Christmas present. Dr. Sterling agreed. The procedure was done. $15,000 was paid. Marcus looked at the calendar. How soon can it be done? He asked. Dr. Sterling said, We can do it in 3 weeks. Marcus was in a hurry. Why was he in such a hurry? Because he had a plan, he had a timeline. But I didn't understand it then. I was just uneasy and suspicious. But there was no proof, just a feeling. A bad feeling. Dorothy stood up. She paced around her room. She was angry. I visited Marcus 2 weeks before the surgery. I went to his house in Portland. It was a surprise visit. I knocked on the door. Jennifer opened it. She was shocked. Dorothy, what are you doing here? She asked. I want to see Marcus, I said. She reluctantly let me in. He was on his computer in his office. When he heard me, he quickly closed the screen. But he was too late. The screen said, Anesthesia complications elderly patients. Another tab said, Life insurance payout timeframe. Another tab read, Surgical malpractice settlements. My breath caught. He was researching surgical complications. He was researching anesthesia risks in elderly patients. He was researching life insurance payout times. He was researching medical malpractice lawsuits. He was researching every step of his plan. Marcus, what are you doing? I asked. He laughed. Just doing research, Mom, he said, gathering information about the surgery as a concerned son. But his eyes lied, his tone lied. Everything lied. I didn't stay home. I went to a hotel. I couldn't sleep all night. I thought about everything. Marcus was planning to kill me. Why didn't you cancel the surgery? I asked. I was afraid if I canceled, Marcus would ask why. If I accused him, he would deny it. He would say I was going crazy. He would say I was senile. He would go to the Consumer Arbitration Board. He would get legal guardianship. Then he would have complete control. He would find another way. I waited for the day of the surgery. My plan was to object at the last minute, to object in front of the doctors, to object in front of witnesses. That way Marcus couldn't deny it. There would be records, there would be documents, there would be protection. This morning at 6 a.m., Marcus picked me up. He brought me to the hospital. He checked me in. I was taken to the pre-op room. You came. You checked my vitals, and you saw my fear. You really saw it. For the first time, someone saw it. I held your hand. I held it tightly. I heard you, I said, and I believed you. And I protected you. That is why I am here. That is why I am a nurse. Dorothy cried, but this time they were tears of relief, tears of safety, tears of hope. After that day, Marcus came twice. Each time he threatened me. Each time he pressured me. But I am not alone anymore. You are here. Detective Rodriguez is here. People believe me. People are protecting me. And justice is coming, I promise. Marcus won't get away with this. That night, I wrote down Dorothy's story. I wrote down every detail, names, dates, places, amounts, conversations, threats, everything, because this wasn't just a patient story. This was a criminal case, and every detail mattered. The next morning, we met with Karen and Detective Rodriguez. I shared Dorothy's full statement. I showed the timeline. I showed Marcus's research history. It is not just elder abuse. There is insurance fraud. There is attempted murder. There is conspiracy. Marcus could get 20 years in prison. How fast can we move? I asked. We have to move very fast. I'll get a search warrant today. We'll review the financial records tomorrow. The arrest warrant will come in 2 days. We're moving fast because Dorothy is in danger. Marcus is desperate. Desperate people are dangerous. I knew he was right, but I didn't know how dangerous. That night, Everything came to light. That night at 9:30 p.m., the alarm went off. I was writing reports at the nurses' station. Suddenly, the light in Dorothy's room came on. She pressed the emergency button. The heart rate monitor sounded the alarm. I ran to the room. Dorothy was sitting up in bed. Her face was pale. Her hands were shaking. Her eyes were wide with fear. "What happened?" I asked. "Someone was watching me from the window." I ran to the window. We were on the 4th floor. I looked outside. I couldn't see anyone, but Dorothy's fear was real. She wasn't imagining things. It was dark. I couldn't see. There was a male silhouette. He tried the window. He tried to open it. I called security immediately. They arrived within 2 minutes. They checked the outside of the building. They checked the fire escape. They checked the roof. They found nothing. But they said they would review the security camera footage. Dorothy couldn't sleep that night. Neither could I. I sat in her chair. I watched the window. If anyone came back, I would be ready. At 6 a.m., I called Detective Rodriguez. I explained the situation. "There was someone in Dorothy's room," I said. "He tried to look in the window. I know who it is. Marcus is trying to scare her." "Do you have any evidence?" asked the detective. "Not yet, but there are security cameras. They're reviewing the footage. I am on my way. I'll be there in an hour. It is time to talk to Marcus." Detective Rodriguez arrived at 7:30 a.m. He came with 2 uniformed police officers. He looked serious. He looked determined. He looked ready to bring justice. First, he spoke with security. He watched the camera footage. Then, he called me. At 9:27 p.m., a man climbed the fire escape. He went up to the 4th floor. He went to Dorothy's window. He looked for 5 minutes. Then he left. His face was dark, but his body shape matched Marcus. His height matched. "Is that evidence enough?" I asked. "Enough for an arrest. There is harassment and trespassing. Combined with the other charges, bail will be denied. Marcus goes to jail. Dorothy is safe." At 9 a.m., Detective Marcus called. "Mr. Mitchell, I need to see you at the hospital," he said calmly. "We need to talk about your mother's condition." Marcus arrived within half an hour. He looked tense. He looked sleep-deprived. He looked guilty. The detective took him to a private conference room. I was invited in too. "Mr. Mitchell, where were you around 9:30 last night?" the detective asked. Marcus paused. He thought. He calculated. "I was at home," he said. "At my home in Portland. I was with Jennifer." "Why are you asking?" "Because last night someone came to your mother's window. They climbed the fire escape. Your mother was frightened. She called security. There is camera footage." Marcus's face didn't change, but his eyes did. For a moment, I saw panic. Then it was gone. "It wasn't me," he said. "Like I said, I was at home, 3 hours away from here. I couldn't have been there." "The Portland police are talking to Jennifer right now. Let's see if their stories match." He knew Marcus was caught, but he wouldn't admit it. "I want a lawyer. I won't say anything else." The detective pointed to 2 police officers. "Marcus Mitchell, you are under arrest for harassment, trespassing, and frightening an elderly person. You have the right to remain silent." The police handcuffed Marcus. Marcus didn't yell. He didn't resist. He just sat there. His plan had failed. He was out of control. It was all over. After Marcus was taken away, the detective spoke to me. "We got the financial records," he said. "Marcus has $340,000 in debt, gambling, credit card, and mortgage debt. He filed for bankruptcy, but it was denied because he reported a sudden increase in income. He pays $18,000 a year on Dorothy's life insurance. Where does that come from? He is borrowing from somewhere else. He is taking advances from his credit cards. He is sinking fast. His only way out is Dorothy's death. $750,000 would pay off all his debts. He could make a fresh start. But it would cost his mother her life." That afternoon, I gave Dorothy the good news. Marcus was arrested. "He can't come near you. You are safe now." Dorothy's eyes filled with tears. "Is it really over?" "Not yet. There will be a trial. But the most dangerous part is over. Marcus won't get bail. He'll be in prison for a long time." Dorothy cried. But this time, they were tears of joy, tears of freedom, tears of survival. Over the next 2 days, Detective Rodriguez and his team conducted an in-depth investigation. They examined Marcus's emails. They examined Marcus's phone records. They examined Marcus's internet history. What they found was unbelievable. It was terrifying. The detective came with a report on the third day. Dorothy and I listened together. First, he read 47 articles about anesthesia complications. My stomach churned. Marcus had researched every stage of his mother's death. Second, we read his email correspondence with Dr. Sterling. Marcus pressured him to speed up the surgery. "Is there an earlier date?" he asked. "My mother is getting old. We need to move fast." He was rushing. Why? Because the debt collectors were coming. Third, we read his messages with Jennifer. "If my mother dies, we get $750,000. She is old. Something will go wrong." Dorothy screamed. "My own son planned to kill me. He planned it in detail. He planned it coldly." The detective continued ruthlessly. Because the truth had to come out. Fourth, we investigated the phone calls with the insurance company. Marcus called 3 times. "How does the payment process work?" he asked. "How long do the documents take?" he asked. "How quickly does the payment come?" he asked. He was ready to ask for money before his mother's body had even cooled. Fifth, we looked at his emails with Susan. "My mother is getting old. She is having eye surgery. It is risky because she is old. If something happens, we'll get our insurance money. Your share is $375,000. You can pay off your debts," Susan replied. "Marcus, this is horrible. You can't talk about my mother like that." Dorothy buried her head in her hands. "Susan knew and didn't protect me. She didn't warn me." "Actually, Susan did warn you," she reported Marcus. "She sent us an email. My brother is saying disturbing things about my mother. Please check it out. But her email went to the spam folder. I didn't see it. I am sorry." Dorothy lifted her head. "Susan tried to protect me," she asked. "Susan's a good girl. She is not a bad person like Marcus." That afternoon, Susan called from Seattle crying. She called from Seattle. Marcus was arrested. "I heard everything. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. I couldn't protect you." "You tried, girl," you wrote to the police. "It wasn't enough. I should have done it sooner. I should have made more noise. But I was afraid of Marcus. I was afraid he would hurt me too. Marcus is dangerous. You protected yourself. I don't blame you. I am coming to Phoenix. I am flying tomorrow. I'll be with you. I'll be with you at the trial. You'll never be alone again," Dorothy cried. But this time they were family tears. They were tears of love. They were real family tears. The next day, Susan came. She hugged her mother tightly. "I love you, Mom. Marcus didn't love you, but I did. I always will. I love you too, my daughter. You are my real child. You are my real family." I monitored Dorothy's vitals throughout that week. Her blood pressure returned to normal. Her heart rate returned to normal. Her sleep pattern returned to normal. Her fear decreased. Her stress decreased. Recovery began. She was physically completely healthy. She had no need for surgery. She definitely didn't need cosmetic surgery. Marcus's insistence was pure manipulation. A week later, Dorothy was discharged from the hospital. Susan rented a hotel. They stayed together. They waited for the trial. I continued to follow Dorothy. Not as her nurse anymore. I was following her as her friend. In the third week of Marcus's detention, the prosecutor announced that he would face 48 years in prison. Marcus's bail hearing took place. The judge listened to the evidence. He listened to Marcus's past. He listened to Dorothy's testimony. He is dangerous to society. He is dangerous to the victim. Bail is denied. He will remain in custody until the trial. Marcus's face fell. His freedom was gone. His plan had completely failed. But Dorothy's fight wasn't over. The trial was still ongoing, and I would be by her side every step of the way. That evening, I sat with Dorothy at the hotel. Susan cooked dinner. We ate together. We ate like a normal family. There was no fear or threat. 4 months later, the trial began. Maricopa County Courthouse, Phoenix, Arizona. Dorothy attended court every day with Susan. I came during lunch breaks. I came to support her. The courtroom was packed. There were reporters. There were cameras. This was going to be a big case. It was an elder abuse case. It was an insurance fraud case. Marcus sat at the defendant's table. He wore an orange prison jumpsuit. He looked very different. No expensive watch. No confident demeanor. Just a scared man. Assistant District Attorney Michelle Park presented the case. She was strong and experienced. She was fighting for justice. This is a simple case. The son didn't love his mother. The son loved his mother's money. The son would get $750,000 if his mother died. So he decided to kill her. He wanted it to look like an accident. He insisted on an unnecessary risky surgery. If the elderly woman died under anesthesia, no one would question it. She would have just suffered an unfortunate complication, but it wasn't an accident. It was a murder plot. Defense attorney Robert Chen objected. Mr. Mitchell isn't perfect. Maybe he is not a good son. Maybe he cares too much about money. But he is not a murderer. He didn't conspire. He just made bad decisions. Bad decisions are not crimes. You may find him guilty. You have no evidence beyond a reasonable doubt. The first week of the trial was spent hearing witness testimony. I was the first witness. I swore to tell the truth, Prosecutor Park asked. Nurse Martinez, how would you describe Dorothy Mitchell's condition when you first saw her? She was panicking. Her hands were shaking. She was crying. It wasn't normal pre-surgery anxiety. She was in fear for her life. I don't want to do this, she said. My son is forcing me. Please cancel the surgery. Then she mentioned life insurance. She mentioned that Marcus wanted to kill her. He wanted to kill her for $750,000. I've been a nurse for 14 years. I've seen thousands of patients. I recognize real fear. I recognize real danger. Dorothy's fear was real. The defense attorney cross-examined her. Nurse Martinez, does Dorothy have dementia in her medical history? Is she confused? Dorothy is completely mentally sound. Her memory is perfect. No cognitive issues whatsoever. At 70. Maybe she developed paranoia. Dorothy is not ill. The prosecutor asked gently, Mrs. Mitchell, how did your son Marcus treat you? Dorothy took a deep breath. At first he acted normally. But after my husband died, he changed. He became cold, calculating. He showed interest in my money. He wanted my money. How did he get you to take out the life insurance policy? Asked the prosecutor. He used scare tactics to get me to take out the policy. What if you get sick? What if the money runs out? He said. I was worried. I was scared. I signed the forms. Marcus was the beneficiary. He paid the premiums. How did the surgery start? Asked the prosecutor. Marcus pressured me every day. You look old. You are embarrassing. You need surgery, he said. I said no, but he didn't stop. He wouldn't let up. Finally, I gave in. I was exhausted. I agreed. How did Nurse Martinez help you? Asked the prosecutor. She listened to me, said Dorothy. She looked at me. She smiled. She believed me. She protected me. She stopped the surgery. She called the police. She saved my life. Not just medically, she saved me in every way. He listened to the other witness, the surgeon. The surgeon said everything was legal. He said Dorothy had signed. I thought she wanted the surgery of her own free will. Marcus started rushing the process. I didn't notice, but thanks to Nurse Ramona, I did. The defense attorney cross-examined her. He asked tough questions. He asked aggressive questions. Mrs. Mitchell, do you love your son? Attorney Chen asked. Dorothy paused. She thought. I once loved him. I loved him very much. But that person is gone. Marcus is no longer my son. Marcus is a stranger and dangerous. Can you forgive him? I can't because he is not sorry. He is not remorseful. He is just angry because he got caught. He doesn't deserve forgiveness. He deserves justice. The other witness, Susan Mitchell, took the stand. She was crying, but she was determined to speak. My brother is mentally ill. He is obsessed with money. He values money too much. He values it more than his family. What did Marcus tell you about the surgery? He sent me an email. My mother is going to have surgery. She is going to have a risky surgery. If she dies, we get the insurance money. He said your share is $375,000. I was disgusted. I was shocked. I replied immediately. This is horrible. You can't talk about my mother like that, I said. What did you do then? I emailed the police, I said. My brother is saying disturbing things about my mother. Please check it out. But they responded late. I feel guilty. I should have done it sooner. I should have made more noise. Do you forgive Marcus? Asked the prosecutor. I will never forgive him. He is no longer my brother. He has no place in our family. He has no place in our lives. He should go to prison. The trial lasted 2 weeks. The witnesses were convincing. The defense was weak. Marcus didn't defend himself. He didn't speak, he just sat there. He sat there silently. The jury deliberated for 2 days, then they returned. They had reached a verdict. "What is your verdict on the charge of elder abuse?" asked the judge. "Guilty," said the jury. "On the charge of emotional intimidation? On the charge of insurance fraud? On the charge of attempted murder? On the charge of conspiracy?" He was found guilty on all counts. We decided on a prison sentence. He was found guilty on all 5 charges. He received a full conviction. Dorothy cried. Susan cried. I cried too. Justice was finally served. Marcus showed no reaction. He just leaned forward. He put his head on the table. It was over. His life was over. 3 weeks later, the sentencing hearing took place. The judge looked at Marcus. "Mr. Mitchell, you planned to kill your mother. You planned it for money. You planned it for $750,000. You forced her into an unnecessary risky surgery. If there were complications, she would die. You would come out clean. It would be the perfect murder. But it wasn't. You got caught, and now you are paying. You are sentenced to 25 years for attempted murder, 10 years for insurance fraud, 5 years for elder abuse, a total of 40 years. No chance of parole, no early release. You will serve the full 40 years. Marcus's face drained. He would have been free at 85. His life was going to prison, just like he tried to steal Dorothy's life. Additionally, you will pay Dorothy Mitchell full compensation, medical expenses, emotional distress. Legal fees, a total of $500,000. It will be deducted from your salary every month while you are in prison. Marcus was led away in handcuffs. Led away never to be free again. When we left the courtroom, Dorothy hugged me tightly. Thank you for everything. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't be here. Marcus would have won. I would have died. But you didn't die. You are alive. You are free. And justice has been served. Susan hugged me too. You are the real hero, Ramona. You saved our family. You saved my mom. We'll never forget it. A week after the sentencing hearing, Dorothy returned home to Seattle. She returned to Thomas and the home they had built together. Susan stayed with her for a few weeks. She helped her settle in. She helped her feel safe. Then Dorothy began a new life. She began her real free life. She would live without fear and threats. She joined a local support group for elderly abuse victims. She shared her story. She inspired others. Speak up, she told them. Someone will believe you. Someone will help. I am living proof. Dorothy also canceled her life insurance policy. She canceled the $750,000 policy. I don't need it, she said. I have enough money. And there is no one to be the beneficiary. Marcus is in prison. Susan doesn't need the money. This money is cursed. Instead, she made a new will. She left her money to charities. She left it to elder abuse prevention organizations. She left it to women's shelters. This money will be used for good things, she said, not for bad things. 6 months later, Dorothy invited me to visit her in Seattle. I saw her house. It was a beautiful house. It was a warm house. She had a loving home. She showed me her garden. She showed me her flowers. Thomas planted these. They bloom every spring. They remind me of him. They remind me of good memories. They remind me of memories before Marcus. That evening, we had dinner together. Susan was there too. The 3 of us sat around the table. We talked. We laughed. We told stories. We chatted like a normal family. Ramona, I want to give you something, Dorothy said. She took out a small box. Inside was a heart-shaped gold necklace. Thomas gave this to me on our 25th wedding anniversary. It is my most precious possession, but I want to give it to you, because you gave me a second life. I can't accept it. It is too valuable. You must accept it, because you are precious. You saved my life. You are my hero. You are my family. Tears streamed down my face. I accepted the necklace. I put it on. I still wear it. I wear it every day. It reminds me of Dorothy. It reminds me of my duty. It reminds me of the meaning of being a nurse. A year later, Marcus had a heart attack in prison. He didn't die, but his body weakened. He got sick. He was in constant pain. Dorothy never visited her son. She never wrote. She didn't forgive him. He is not my son anymore. Even if he dies in prison, I won't go to his funeral. I am completely done with him. I understood Dorothy's decision. Some betrayals are unforgivable. Some wounds never heal. Marcus tried to kill her. Her own son tried to kill her. He doesn't deserve forgiveness. 2 years later, I was invited to speak at a major elder abuse conference. It was in Washington, D.C. It was a national conference. There were 500 attendees: nurses, doctors, social workers, police, lawyers. "I want to share Dorothy Mitchell's story with you," I said. I spoke into the microphone. A 70-year-old woman, a healthy woman. Her son tried to kill her. He tried to kill her for $750,000 in life insurance. He forced her into unnecessary, risky surgery. He thought there would be complications and death, but he was caught because I listened. I believed. I took action. According to the CDC, 5 million American seniors are abused every year. But cases are not reported because victims don't speak up. They are afraid. They are ashamed. They are alone. It is our job to be their voice, to see them, to hear them, to protect them. If you are a healthcare worker, here is something you can do. Really see every patient. Don't just look at their vitals. Look for fear. Look for bruises. Look for inconsistent stories. Ask questions politely, but ask persistently, because one question can save a life. If you are a family member, there are things you can do. Visit your elderly loved ones regularly. Don't leave them alone. Don't isolate them. Pay attention. Look for changes in behavior. Watch for financial changes. If you suspect abuse, report it to Adult Protective Services. Report it to the police. Don't stay silent. And if you are being abused, you are not alone. You are not a burden. Your age does not make you worthless. You deserve safety. You deserve respect. You deserve justice. Help is available. Call the National Elder Abuse Hotline at 1-800-677-1116. It is free. It is confidential. Please talk. Please talk. The speech ended. The saloon stood up. They applauded. Some were crying. Some lined up to talk to me. "Thank you," they said. "You inspired us. We will continue to make a difference." That night, sitting in my hotel room, I texted Dorothy. "I spoke at the conference. I shared your story. 500 people listened. They were inspired. They will make a difference." Dorothy replied immediately, "I am proud. If my story serves a purpose, it finds meaning in the pain. Thank you, Ramona. Thank you for everything." Today, 3 years later, Dorothy still lives in Seattle. She is 73 and healthy. She lives a happy life. She visits Susan often. She has no grandchildren, but she has nieces and nephews. She has friends. Marcus is still in prison, Arizona State Prison. He is now 48. He will serve 37 more years. He will be there until he is 85. Justice was served. I still work at St. Catherine's Medical Center. I work in the pre-op unit. It has been 17 years. Since Dorothy, I've identified 4 more cases of elder abuse. I've saved 4 more patients, 4 more families found justice. Because Dorothy taught me, she taught me to look closely. She taught me to really listen. She taught me to act courageously. If you are watching this and know someone who is being abused, please speak up. Please report it. Don't stay silent. One phone call can save a life. If you are experiencing abuse yourself, please know you are not alone. Help is available. Talk to a healthcare worker you trust. Someone will listen. Someone will believe. Someone will protect you. I promise. Thank you for listening to Dorothy's story. Thank you for being here today. If this story resonated with you, share your thoughts in the comments. What would you do? Have you experienced something similar? In my next video, I'll share another patient story. Another case that is different from what meets the eye. Another time when careful observation saved a life. Until then, take care of yourself. Take care of the vulnerable people in your life. They need us more than we realize. And remember, every patient has a story. Behind every fear lies a truth. Our duty is to listen to the victims, to believe and protect. This isn't nursing. This is justice. This is love.